Welcome everybody to Alpha Pro Series number 203. My name is RagnaroK. I'm here to be your caster for this series between RagnaroK and Patience, and with me is my loyal co-caster, the Black One.
Hey, hello everybody.
Hope everyone is doing fine. We are just starting things off right now. Oops. Lapping music right now, and it's gonna be a best of 9 between these two incredible players. They're all ready. I am eager to start this series, and our first map for today is gonna be Ice and Chrome. As I was saying, best of 9, losers pick until all maps are played, and then we're gonna have all maps open again. And I don't know, like, these two players are very close together in skills. I'm very excited to see how they will perform today. What's your prediction, Black One?
I'm predicting a rather convincing win for RagnaroK. Part of it is because he's on our team, but also because kind of looked up on their history and it looks pretty RagnaroK favored in the past 7 matchups they had, but they didn't play in the last 2 months, so Patience is still somebody to be reckoned with, because like especially in the GSL he has been showing pretty good matches.
Definitely.
And well, even though it was only PvP and PvT, I think we can still expect some very good matches against RagnaroK here.
I mean, like, we all know Patience ZvP is not like his best matchup, but as you were saying before, like, Patience is one of these insanely strong players, very, I don't know, unpredictable at times, very aggressive. So, like, literally everything can happen, but it's time to start it off with our first map for today. We're heading on Ice and Chrome.
So RagnaroK is already 1. Like,
please,
let's focus.
Alright. Everybody wants their practice and their money. Those two guys can do both together. But let's see who's gonna be the one to actually perform the better. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Ice and Chrome is a blue Protoss player. It is Patience.
And spawning in the bottom left, he's the red Zerg player representing Alpha X. Give it up for RagnaroK.
You know, there's this story about like, hi Patience. I mean, okay. Am I supposed to answer or not? Well, RagnaroK is supposed to not put his second hatchery there. That's for sure.
You know, Protoss players, they block your natural, and what do? You just take theirs.
Yeah,
it's only fair.
Yeah, okay.
Only
on
fair.
Ice and Chrome, it's just the second longest map we've ever had in the past 2 years. Like, whatever, right? I mean, okay. So this is an hatch block here on Ice and Chrome. Probably Patience will start to wall off completely. Yes, that's what. Well, not completely, just immediately. That's what I wanted to say. To avoid any undesirable surprises, to get into his natural. I'm actually surprised he didn't start attacking his hatchery with a couple probes. He's gonna go start it off right now, but I suppose a couple of Zerglings will still be made from me.
Like, he went over the map with his probe and scouted that RagnaroK went for his natural directly after. So I was expecting him to pull probes and to kill off the hatchery with the zealots and the probes. But he decided to go for the second gateway instead, get a pylon on the high ground in case any really weird shenanigans are coming up. And
he's also
is going
starting,
into...
yeah, he's also dropping his stack. He's going into Stargate. So I like Stargate here on Eisenchrome, and I feel like it's a good choice to try to be proactive on the map after being delayed for your second Nexus for so long. Oh my god, that's rough over there. But, oh, okay, so RagnaroK actually decided to cancel his Zergling. What I was about to say is that, oh, okay, he's making 2 more.
I'm not sure if he's going to finish them though.
I still
Maybe
feel like
he's
it is
just trying
important to scout, though. Like, this is needed. At least one of them, yeah. Okay, that's what I wanted to see, like a fast scout with these Zerglings. Okay, they're gonna die, yeah, but they're gonna die spotting the Oracle coming from this target. Like, this is a pretty big deal. RagnaroK already placing his 3rd, and it's time to drop some spores as well.
Let's see what RagnaroK's plan from here on out is. Oh, Patience finishes the shade and gets into the main base, but the Zergling's already on top of the Adepts.
Yeah, that was a pretty optimistic shade, to say the least. Oh yeah, give me more of that. It's gonna be Void Race, while this Oracle is zooming through the map, right, to at least get some scouting information. But yeah, I like the Void Ray. Like, it's pretty good in case RagnaroK decides to go for some kind of roach all-in or stuff like that, and it still prevents scouting. Like, it's overall a good choice right now. Void Rays are back, boys.
They are indeed, with the movement speed buff and the cost and production time buff as well. They have been getting some love lately.
Yeah, well-deserved love as well. It's gonna be this Void Ray to kill the Overlord, not before he spots the Twilight Council being dropped by Patience. So, is this going to be an Adept follow-up? That's something I've seen lately. I don't remember who did that. It was probably Zest who did something like this. And of course, Adept, Zest, is basically saying the same thing. But yeah, it's gonna be an Adept follow-up to the Void Rays. Mind, this is not super committed. Patience will probably expand behind this, and his position is still a very hard position to actually break. Void Rays are gonna get rid of this Void Ray pretty easily. Meanwhile, one of the queens already have fallen. Second queen is about to go down as well. These Void Rays are really getting the damage in, but of course they're gonna be just heading off after more queens show up. That's not gonna do much against the Zerglings. And RagnaroK probably has a pretty good idea about what's coming right now. He has seen the Twilight Council, he knows what's up, so I expect him to have a solid defense against this.
Like, I like the decision of Patience to just move across the map and try to kill off some queens and maybe force some additional spines as well. Yeah. Because as long as there are not too many queens, your Adepts can just fight them head on, and the Zerglings or Roaches will have to follow the shades. So getting rid of some queens early on is a great choice. Now the glaive upgrade just finished up, and there are 7 Adepts on the way across the map. We do not have a war prison, so reinforcements will be late if there will be any.
Yeah, Patience will go straight for the drones as soon as he can, since more likely this is not gonna be like an army that can fight the army of RagnaroK. Even though it's just Zerglings and Queens, it's not gonna be easy. Another wall falls down, a little bit of a supply block, and it looks like Patience has found his way into a mineral line. Oh, one of the Void Rays actually has fallen down. Meanwhile, Patience fighting Zerglings in his choke point. He's gonna take a few kills at least, but in the end, he's not gonna get too many drones, just a couple. And RagnaroK setting up a Nidus network under the eyes of Patience.
That is something that you really enjoy.
Yeah, yeah, that is true, but I do enjoy it with some like some follow-up or something behind this. Like this knight is, yeah, okay, there is no prismatic alignment on this Void Ray, so goodbye Void Ray, you cannot stay there anymore. And then it goes down. That's one attack from a queen. Meanwhile, a bunch of queens and ravagers are gonna come out of these Nether's network. Sentries are not gonna be too helpful. There are 2 immortals out with this army, but this Void Ray is way too bruised. No shield batteries here in the fur to help. There's one in the natural, but he's way too far away. Void Ray is trying to do its best, but he falls down. It's just up to these 2 immortals to do the rest of the job. Another Nether's network to replace lost units and start attacking again. These queens are way too healthy right now. Too much energy. Some Zerglings coming out as well. There are shield batteries finally in the fur base. But this is gonna be a run on top of that immortal. Shield battery overcharged, trying to do its best. But it's not gonna be enough. Ravager still up and standing, getting attacks. Shield battery overcharged. There's no more. These queens are just not falling in the end. Patience looks like he has barely enough to deal with this. But really deal with the reinforcements. More roaches are coming. RagnaroK retires for the time being. These queens are now slightly more bruised, no more energy. More immortals are coming, and RagnaroK is trying its best to break down this position from the Protoss player. In the end, Patience will finally get the supply lead, and RagnaroK will be forced to retreat.
Yeah, back home to lick his wounds, but he already has the Lurker Den on the way. So he has a transition, even though it's a little late, I assume.
Yeah.
He does not have any Hydras out yet. He's still committing purely to roaches, which will hit his drone count and supply as well, since they are really supply heavy, and spending the lava on roaches is still a commitment. Now, Patience, he did gather some energy on those force feeds. They were completely out of energy in that fight earlier at the 3rd base, and is trying to find some damage across the map.
Yeah, he's definitely moving out, and this is a scary army. Most of the army of RagnaroK is roaches. There are only 4 ravagers right now, which is like probably 8 too less if you... I meant, of course, the army of Patience cannot blindly just commit in here. It's not gonna be easy to get out once you get in. So Patience looks like he wants to just play it a little bit slower. Probably send Warp Prism and a couple of adepts in the main base of RagnaroK. And the Zer player is trying to react with that, with a counter attack of his own. Placing the Spore right next to the edge of that main. Here comes the Warp Prism. Oh, whoa! Careful, Patience. A couple probes will go down to the Zerglings of RagnaroK, but yeah, there's an army of immortals.
So many, there are just so many immortals. How is this army ever supposed to die?
The double robo follow-up from Patience, that is paying off. Like, that is heavily paying off. Like, even having 2 immortals be ready to fight in the middle of the fight from RagnaroK. I meant the one into the natural of Patience. Like, that was super clutch. Right now, though, he has to retreat. These Zerglings are running amok in his 4th base. A couple of adepts are gonna be warped in to deal with them. One of the adepts is actually going to fall down. Zerglings, unupgraded, still deal so much damage. Oh, a bunch of roaches are also moving out.
Roach counter-attack coming in to that 4th base. Patience once again forced to retreat with his immortal-based army.
And that is terrible news for the Protoss player. Like, RagnaroK is really getting a lot of important units out. One Disruptor actually gets sniped. This is already worth all of these roaches, probably. And even then, these roaches are actually going to survive in a bunch. Patience finally moving backwards towards this ramp again. But there are gonna be 3 Vipers out, and there are so many Lurkers waiting for Patience army to hallucinate the Colossi, trying to do their best as scouting forward. But yeah, even though Disruption Novas will get one of the Lurkers, this is a hard to break position. Lurkers dealing so much damage on top of these immortals, and RagnaroK doesn't even commit the most mobile part of his army, is waiting for the Vipers to get enough energy. And then he will just start abducting key units into his army and killing them one by one.
Patience still on that disruptor train. He did not stop the disruptor production. Is going into Storm right now. I wonder if we'll see him add some additional Stargates soon as well.
Because yeah, I like this move.
That's pretty much what we've seen out of stats lately.
Yeah.
He would just go for Storm, and then as soon as Storm is up and the nerf.
Oh, Big Disruption Nova gets a couple of Ravagers, but the Vipers got way more. 2 Immortals gone in the blink of an eye. Disruption Novas will whiff over here. There was a good move before by Patience, getting the spines before they could be made, getting a couple lurkers with it as well. Good value out of the disruptors, but yeah, in the end, even though this depth attack over here gets a couple drones, not gonna be the most effective of pushes.
Archon,
yeah, that's a
we
free
are
ticket.
seeing carriers.
Or maybe Tempest, actually.
I still think you don't go for Tempest because the DPS of them is just so low that it's not worth it.
I don't know. I think it's Tempest. That's my call. Okay, that's a big fight coming from these Stalkers. They're gonna get away, getting a few kills, but it was gonna be just roaches falling down. These lurkers cannot get to... These are Stalkers, yes. You cannot get too close to the lurkers. Those two words are way too similar. And yeah, in the end, it looks like RagnaroK is still gonna have a pretty good defensive position, but he needs something more to stop Patience from growing in. These Disruptors are facing a very serious danger.
Don't lose them to Zerglings though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Patience for a second forgot that Disruption Novas cannot hurt Disruptors, so... If you ever find yourself Zerglings are attacking your Disruptors, just use your Novas. You're not gonna lose your Disruptors. Alright, RagnaroK is ready to get a move out. It looks like he doesn't want Patience to start off his Fleet Beacons unit production. Oh, Disruption Novas are gonna get a couple roaches. RagnaroK moved out of there in time, but the Soakers are trying to get a little bit of a flank. There was a very good abduct from RagnaroK. Oh, that's a sick Disruption Nova. Gonna get off the army of RagnaroK in that position. It's gonna be just mainly these lurkers moving out right now. 2 more Stargates are coming, and it doesn't look like RagnaroK really has an answer now. Plus 3
Hydras.
Hydras.
Would be funny if Patience would just go pure Oracle, just for the lols. We are sitting here discussing whether he would go Tempest or Carrier, and he's just Oracles.
Or Dark Shrine, because why not? Lurkers getting in position once more to start dealing some damage over here, but there were so many Disruptors that is gonna be clutch. 2 Disruptors are gonna, 2 Disruption Novas are gonna get, and these Lurkers getting so much damage. Disruption Nova gonna get just 2 Lurkers. It was looking like he was gonna get like 5. But, yeah.
And at the same time, there's a Nidus network being placed in the main base.
And it's the second one to be killed, and so does the Overseer fall. These Lurkers being split apart means no bueno for RagnaroK. Meanwhile, another Nidus over here with 3 Lurkers actually getting some damage already. 8 probes are gonna go down. The Army of Patience really nowhere to be seen right now. Just a little bit too blindsided by RagnaroK. And over here, not gonna be easy for Patience to clear these Lurkers. Getting in position, Disruption Nova will hit one of them, getting the kill. RagnaroK's Ravagers will go down as well, and in the end, finally, these Lurkers will be cleared. But the cost paid was pretty high.
I think at this point, Patience should try to trade off some of his army. Okay, carriers are started up now. 4 carriers
incoming, but RagnaroK is a little bit too everywhere. He's at the 4th, he's at the 3rd, he's at the 5th. He doesn't really care too much about what Patience is doing right now if he's able to disrupt his economy in a bunch. A bunch of lurkers are actually falling for RagnaroK. This is not the most cost efficient of trades, but it feels like he can afford it. He's not running out of resources yet. Another Nidus goes into the main. Meanwhile, lurkers sieging up at the 4th. Disruption Novas are gonna whiff. But I don't know. Where's the main army of RagnaroK? This is only lurkers. There are gonna be Vipers and Hydras to help this. If it's just lurkers, like, of course you can get some pot shots, you can get some damage, but Nidus are not gonna go up easily, and it's gonna be carriers in a while. And a lot of them. I don't really like RagnaroK's position here.
So RagnaroK really needs to get his Viper count up. His base composition with those Hydras and the lurkers is pretty good, but he needs those Vipers to get those efficient trades against the carriers, to just yoink one of them in one at the time, and to whittle down Patient's army, because he is hurting Patient's economy quite a bit. Once again, he's pushing into that 4th base. The carriers join the fight now, and some nice abducts, but no real focus on top of those carriers.
These Hydras are still dealing so much damage. Interceptors are falling down left and right. All of the main army of Patience is being just abducted into this bulk of lurkers. That was a crazy fight from RagnaroK. Wait a second. I'm baffled right now. I agree with you, that fight was looking to be terrible for RagnaroK. In the end, like, interceptors all died in, like, and they died, all of them. It was very interesting.
He didn't really have any support for those carriers. It was basically 4 carriers fighting against 20 Hydralisks.
Yeah.
So when he yanked them in, when RagnaroK yanked them in, he didn't really have to focus them down, because there were no storms to hit his Hydras. There was no splash really to hit him, and the only thing that could have hurt him were the disruptors. But as soon as the disruption novas were cast, he just yoinked in the disruptors themselves, and then just carried. The lurkers carried him.
Yeah, it is true. It was a very heavy amount of lurkers. Like, all of that energy on those Vipers. Like, one of the things that Pearls players need to be more careful about is, like, keeping those Vipers at a low energy count. Like, making those abducts be a little bit wasted. And that's very hard to do. Vipers, very good unit. And in the end, like, the control by RagnaroK was pretty damn good. Let's hope.
Yeah, like,
that's not an easy army to control.
Just the multitasking he showed us in this match, where he was starting up Nidus Swarm in the main base, lurker run by at the 5th, another lurker run by at the 3rd, and then some pressure at the 4th. Patience really never had any time to breathe or to trade off army efficiently. Every time he lost units, it was because RagnaroK made him lose them.
True. For game number 2, we're right now on Eternal Empire, ready to see who's gonna be getting a tie, in case it's this guy over here, or getting even more ahead. In the top right hand corner is a blue Protoss player, Spawn, playing for Team LP. It is Patience.
Spawning in the bottom left, he is our red Zerg player. He just won the map on Ice and Chrome. Can he make it a 2-0? Give it up for Alpha Axis RagnaroK. Okay, so no proxy hatch so far.
Well, I mean, if you proxy hatch even here, like, oh man, like, it's Eternal Empire. Let's all be honest. Like, you're gonna take a million hours just to get to the other side of the map. And Patience little thief probe is gonna just get a little bit of scouting, but it's gonna be a very standard opener from both players. Like, nothing too off the book. Oh, il Inizio alla console, yay!
Hey, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. It's not decided that it's going to be Glaive Adept. It can still be a Dark Templar build.
Yeah, it could be an Arcan drop. It could be.
I mean, we are watching Patience and not Zest, right?
Yeah, but if this is gonna be a Stalker, I don't know. Oh, Robot being dropped. Make a unit. Oh, Glaives. Well, how was your day, Black One?
Oh,
I'm going into full Resident Sleeper mode right now.
Man, that getting up early is just not my thing. I'm more the night owl kind of guy. So
if you go into my point of view, I've been like this for the past minutes, probably.
Let's see what RagnaroK does then, because maybe he surprises us with some Mutalisk play. Oh, actually, so there has been I heard this from in Hastem's stream that there has been there is a new way to defend Glaive Adept pressure, and the guy who came up with it is Owanda Dark.
Oh wow!
So
what a surprise!
So what he does is apparently he goes for a couple of links and then adds in like 4 Ravagers, and what he will do with those Ravagers is just kite those adepts all day long. As long as he's on creep, he can kite them and will never take any damage, and the Zerglings will just follow the shades. And as soon as the Protoss player decides to finish the shades, Zerglings are on top, and the Ravagers can do the rest.
It is a pretty interesting way to deal with it. It looks a little bit harder than most of the defenses. It looks like RagnaroK is gonna default to the standard. I'll just make a bunch of Zerglings and I'll make sure to follow your shades, which is a pretty good tactic if you ask me. And of course his production needs to be on point. Here comes the Roaches, ready to deal with everything else. But this counter attack from RagnaroK is already crazy good. One Stalker falls down. This Cybernet, oh my god, if the Cybercore goes down, this is all the Patience is gonna have for now. Patience cannot make any more attacks.
Oh, he gets in as well!
Cybercore goes down, and there's so many Zerglings out already. Zerglings are in the main, and here comes the recall issued from Patience. This is a total disaster from the Protoss player.
What a big brain move to split off this many Zerglings to just go for a counterattack, take down the Cybernetics core. Like, he focused that Cybernetics core down. As soon as the Stalker was done with and Patience walled off the entrance, he was like, okay, I'll just take your Cybernetics core, you won't be able to get your upgraded adepts anymore, and if I get in, you have to recall. And that's exactly what happened. Now, Patience did want to transition out of this. I don't think he wanted to transition quite this way.
Probably not. Don't you think RagnaroK has a bit too many minerals?
Maybe.
I'm...
Let's see if there will be like 1 or 2 macro hatches, you know, just the usual stuff you see in Diamond.
The problem with making all those Zerglings was that he cut off some drones, so probably he's not gonna have a 4th for a while, and cutting off those drones and not larva being ready means that he's gonna be floating a lot of resources for the time being. Like, there's not gonna be like those units like the Hydras, perfect to sink both larva efficiently and resources. So yeah, okay, finally come 10 roaches to get rid of that bank,
God.
but the army of patience is slightly outgrowing the one of RagnaroK right now. Of course, Ravages are gonna be super duper important to deal with this, but there's so many sentries, those Eglins are not getting too close. Queens are getting on top of the Word Prism, that barely gets away from there, but this base is basically doomed. Meanwhile, RagnaroK is going for a counter-attack. More roaches and more Zerglings
Oh
are
my
coming,
god, he gets
and
in.
yeah, goodbye, patience. You can surrender probably. Like
Oh
this
my
is
God.
yeah, this is brutal. This actually is still probably gonna go down. Meanwhile, so many probes are falling down. That's a disaster for patience. He needs to win the game with this army, and he definitely cannot. There's also a couple Zerglings in the third base to deal with everything, but the warp in from patience was dealt with in the main base of the Protoss player here in Eternal Empire. Patience is suffering from a mega brain play from RagnaroK, who's just straight up taking losses and defending perfectly. You don't want to get into that choke point. No more force fields. These sentries are way out of energy. 45 probes have fallen down. These are gonna be the last few force fields. Meanwhile, spine crawlers getting the damage on top of those sentries. The army of RagnaroK is forced to retreat, but patience doesn't have a lot to get some warp pins with that. The three mortals are still up and standing. Here comes the drones being pulled. RagnaroK can take losses. These spine crawlers still alive. One unrooted spine crawler as well. The drones are getting to business, everybody. And the army of patience is gonna be no more. GG gets gold. And RagnaroK solid 2-0 advantage.
Man, those run-bys. we have seen a lot of Protoss players struggling with circling run-bys as soon as they move across the map. I know that a pretty prominent example of this is stats against Rogue, where Rogue would just always get into the main base of stats with some Zerglings and just take down the Protoss player at the root, and RagnaroK really showing how it's done with those run-bys. He got that run-by in right at the beginning when the adept timing was supposed to hit. Then he got another one in when the follow-up push was arriving at his third base. Really smart play to just sacrifice the third base because he knew there were no probes left for patience.
Yeah. He basically decided to go for a little bit of a trade that was always going to be in his favor. So clever play, and everything he did was I mean, I like that game a lot from RagnaroK. So I'm eager to see what he's gonna do in game 3. But before we get into that, guys, make sure to follow the link here in the just under the screen. It's a link to our Match Arena page for this event called APS203. Is gonna be adding up 50 cents to the prize pool for free. Money that goes straight into the pockets of these players, and it's money that you don't even have to pay for. Just use the code, log in with whichever method you like the most, and get that 30 seconds of your time to improve the prize pool, all for free.
And if you want to spend a little bit more, there is a $3. So why not take it? Look at some of RagnaroK's amazing plays he has shown us so far, and surprise your next opponent with a proxy hatchery.
For game number 3, we're gonna head on Golden Wall, the most hated map by every Zerg on the planet. Here in the bottom right hand corner is the blue base of the blue Protoss. Playing for Team LP, it is Patience.
Spawning on the left side, he's representing Alpha X. He's currently up 2-0. Give it up for RagnaroK.
That's an interesting conversation.
Yeah, earlier they have been talking about how Patience was struggling and how his hands just wouldn't do the stuff he wants them to do. And well, it's hard to blame him because apparently he has been moving in the past 2 weeks. Then his matches in the GSL. All of this is just stacking up right now.
Yeah, it is stressful, of course.
In the Korean scene, there is something called chat rush.
Yeah.
Where you just try to get your opponent.
I was expecting a forge as well, but in the end, like RagnaroK just went for Arch first here. So that's another interesting very. Wait, Patience woke up an hour ago. Isn't it like 3 p.m. in Korea?
5 p.m.
Oh, all right. That's an healthy time. Your English is very good. Well, yeah.
Actually, right?
Yeah. Okay, listen to me. What if he does it anyway?
Straight savagery.
Stalker?
Oh my god.
Yeah, the Stalker surprises me as well. Why did he start off with a Stalker and not an Adept?
Oh, it's a Robo All-In.
Oh, whoa. Oh gosh, you're right. It is a Robo All-In.
Okay, let's see how many gateways he decides to get, and if he decides to add a forge as well. Because if he adds a forge, I'm pretty sure he's going three base. Without the forge, I think you add like 7 gateways and just pump your opponent full with those gateway units.
Yeah,
and with
RagnaroK doesn't look like he's gonna have a lot right now. He finally drops Roach Warren, but
okay, there's a Twilight Council. Is it a Blink All-In?
I mean, it is Patience, so Blink is gonna be here put somewhere in the mix. And there is no third base being taken yet. And Golden Wall is a pretty easy map to get on 3 bases. It is not the hardest thing ever. And there's a Robo.
What is this? What is this build?
Okay, Patience is playing TvP, guys.
He just stopped.
He's gonna go extend the Thermal Lance into these Raptors with Blink. Then he's
His
gonna
brain just stopped computing and he's like, whatever, you do what you want. I'm just going to go into a Warp Prism to harass your gold mineral line from the backside. You won't be able to do anything unless you mine that minerals in the main.
Yeah, RagnaroK kinda did his homework. Stable Warp Prism is not gonna do much over here. And yeah, Patience is like, oh wait, you're not Terran?
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Yeah, but even if RagnaroK was a Terran player, like, where is your third base, Patience?
Oh, it's Disruptor drop! Oh my god!
It's a little bit of everything, and it's a little bit too late, it looks to me. Like, why drop that Twilight Council? Like, okay, you wanna get Blink. Blink is gonna be useful to transition into later stages, but you can get it afterwards. Disrupted drop, I like it here, because you can get so much damage in these golden bases, basically for free. But in the end, RagnaroK has so much vision everywhere on the map. And Patience is starting to struggle behind a little bit, macro-wise. Okay, he has the tech, but what if RagnaroK just decides to get a big attack?
Well, I guess then we pray for the Protoss gods to give us beautiful disruptor shots.
That's an interesting place to put down.
Oh my god, so many Zerglings coming in, and there's not really anything to save that third base.
Yeah, and there's not really anything to save anything right now. Okay, these Blink Stalkers are walling off the entrance. but the base is gonna be cancelled. Patience still moving out with the 2 disruptors. But right now, RagnaroK basically knows everything about this and he's starting to prepare his
Wait
answer.
a second. Do the disruptors actually
No.
deal damage from the other side as well?
No, they can't.
Oh, nice first disruptor
Oh,
shot.
yeah, okay. 7 drones. Okay.
That's decent.
Yeah,
that's decent.
That's good. That's good.
I take that.
Yeah. For a player who didn't remember what race he was playing against, that's pretty good.
Now going into Colossi. Interesting, but I'm not sure if
he's gonna
RagnaroK
survive,
is actually
yeah.
going to.
Oh,
Oh no, not
no.
again!
Yeah, that's a disaster from Patience. Shield battery overcharge gets used on top of this shield battery. That's a good Nova. Okay, that's a good Nova. But the army of RagnaroK is still getting way too easily into this natural. More disruption Novas. This one is gonna hit a bunch of roaches. The other one is not gonna be used yet. Meanwhile, RagnaroK is getting so much damage. That's how do you say ability is called? Corrupt on top of the gateway. It looks like Patience is gonna be able to defend with straight up stalkers with blink. Oh, disruption over. Okay, he's gonna get just one Ravager. The other one dies to the stalkers. RagnaroK is trying to retreat in an interesting point of the map.
I think what he's trying to do is just draw Patience away, because look at the army supply.
Yeah.
Like, there isn't really that much for RagnaroK, and disruptors and blink stalkers are pretty efficient. Now there is a run by in the natural once again. He gets the disruptor.
That is way too good to be true. And look at the third base. Once more, this third Nexus is not gonna be cancelled, but he's gonna be suffering a lot of damage. The Colossus was there just in the brink of time. But yeah, RagnaroK has bought himself enough time to have these lurkers out. And yeah, without some clear answers like immortals or stuff like that, these lurkers are gonna be basically unbreakable right now for Patience.
Yeah, like the blink stalkers are okay versus roach ravager based compositions, but as soon as those lurkers get in, the extra damage versus armored units is just so high that I don't think that Patience can put any more pressure onto RagnaroK, and he should be fine just droning up right now.
Patience badly needs to put something in his Wolves right now. Zerglings are running into his base basically every 30 seconds, getting damage for free. Even if it's little points of damage, it is still hurting Patience way more than it is hurting RagnaroK. Right now, RagnaroK is getting over here at the third base of... Patience is getting over here at the third base of RagnaroK, getting some damage on top of this archery. But by now, RagnaroK has mined already so much from here that he's not gonna be too sad about losing this. The army of Patience is still a pretty strong one. It looks like RagnaroK is gonna be standing behind, ramping up his lurkers numbers and defend into a better position.
Oh, we have ourselves a pretty close game. Like, we started out with Patience pretty much playing PvT, and now we have RagnaroK with a pretty good army to fight what Patience has, but overall a rather weak economy.
Yeah, the cancel on the Nexus happening twice was a little bit of a bummer for Patience, who's still gonna be controlling his army basically perfectly, not losing too much, dropping down quick tumors left and right. But yeah, as you were saying, Patience needs a little bit more economy, he needs more time, and these Shadow Strike Dark Templars are aimed exactly at that purpose, with a second robo being dropped as well. RagnaroK is gonna be struggling behind for a little while. He needs more creep, he needs this fourth base to go up, and he needs these lurkers upgrades. Finally, some Vipers are gonna be out as well. And yeah, as you were saying, like, we're gonna have a pretty close game this time.
So usually we see a lot of queens out for the Zerg.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the last game, we had like 5 or 6 queens standing together with the main army of Ragnarok. But this time around, we only have the queens at the hatcheries. So no real creep spread, no vision, no chance to clear off any additional vision, and man, Patience is just able to fly around the map with this War Prism all the time, and the Dark Templars don't make it any easier.
Yeah, that cancel on the 4th base is putting Ragnarok quite too much behind. Patience is really outgrowing his opponent right now. He doesn't really still have an army strong enough to break these lurkers, but he's gonna be buying himself some time to drop the Stargates, get the Fleet Beacon, and start making those key units. 18 drones coming from Ragnarok, finally getting close to be maxed out with Thermal Hydras coming as well. But these lurkers over here are still the most important part of Ragnarok's plan.
Yeah, the lurker's really the one thing that keeps Patience from just rolling over him, because like you just cannot engage a lurker Hydra army with Blinkstalker Colossus. Your Colossus will do fine against the Hydras
until they get abducted.
All the meat will just melt.
Yeah, with these Vipers being out, the DPS from Patience will really go down low once the first abducts come flying, stopping these Eruption Novas and Colossi from dealing damage. So these Dark Templars though are really putting in some work for Patience. Shadow Stride is done. They can get in and then get out very easily. You get a lot of damage, but there are lurkers out over there. Oh, these Dark Templars are gonna get so much with the Observer being right there. Here comes the... Oh, Observer goes down. Both players losing their detection. And Patience needs to head out.
Okay, Patience moving in to clear off some creep once again.
Oh, that's not a good place.
Oh my god, that was once again a good example of why you don't.
Oh, a duck's coming on top of everything, and the army of Patience is crumbling. These Eruption Novas are gonna eat so much. Oh, Ragnarok not really getting both the abducts on the disruptors to stop the Novas, and one of them is gonna get so much damage. Most of the army falling down over there was Hydras and Roaches. No lurkers have been killed, but still, that was a lot of value out of one disruptor.
Behind all of this though, Patience is transitioning into that carrier attack once again. He did get up the 4th and 5th Nexus as well, so his economy is looking pretty good to deal with what Ragnarok has right now. He should add some additional splash damage and some feedbacks in as well, because like those Vipers are just going to decimate anything that comes out of those Stargates.
Yeah.
And the Hydralisks are adding just so much DPS overall that Storms would be great. But as it looks right now, he's just going to keep on building disruptors.
Right now, Ragnarok has chased down all of the remaining Dark Templars. He has set up a lurker run by at the 5th base of Patience. And you know what? He's also getting +2/+2 once +3 kicks in. Carriers are not gonna be very lively against these Hydras. They're just gonna die very easily, and this is a powerful lurker position. Disruption Novas are going everywhere. 2 disruptors, 2 lurkers are gonna go down, but in the end, Ragnarok once more is everywhere. He's at the 4th, he's at the ramp of the natural, and Patience this time looks like he doesn't want to be fooled. He's moving out himself, forcing Ragnarok to back off for the time being, but he's still losing so much in his side bases. right now. These archery is probably not gonna go down. Disruption Nova will get on top of one of the lurkers, getting a kill. More Disruption Novas are getting more kills. And wait a second, this was a very good trade from Patience.
Yeah, it was, but he won't get away that easily with all the speedlings on top of the stalkers. He's even yoinking them in!
Yeah,
you absolute madman!
And with this one more warp pin by Patience, it looks like the Protoss player needs to do something here. And now, +2 Carapace is gonna kick in 12 more lurkers, as well as +1 air weapons are gonna be the next productive stuff from RagnaroK, and that is gonna be out of control for Patience, most likely.
So we really see some different approach to the PvZ late game here by Patience. While we see people like Stats or Trap to just go for the early storm and to get into the game that way, into the late game. Patience is just like, okay, robo units are pretty cool, and if I hit those disruptor shots, they can turn the game. They did do pretty well so far, but I'm not sure if he can perform like this for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
because at one point, the Vipers are just going to be too much for him.
There's an interesting run by Zealot over here, while the main army is collecting outside of the natural of RagnaroK. But then again, this main is not really the biggest place you can eat with these Zealots. You're gonna get a couple spine crawlers and that's it, basically. Like, there's not much to be killed. Of course there is tech, but these Zealots do not kill tech.
Oh my god, so many Zealots.
Yeah, but it's also so many Hydras with +2/+2. These Zealots are just melting right now. Couple Hydras will fall. This lurker over here in the top right corner is still not being dealt with. Finally some lurkers arrive, some stalkers arrive to get the kill. But then again, RagnaroK is showing up at so many different places so quickly, and Patience is struggling to keep up. +3 is soon to kick in as well, and these carriers, even 3 of them at a time, they're not gonna be enough if RagnaroK decides to commit anytime soon.
Okay, so RagnaroK sees the army movement out of Patience. He gets all the disruptors. That means there is no real damage left for those stalkers, and there's no real splash damage left once again.
Yeah, all of the army of Patience is these stalkers and these Zealots over here. The Zealots are dying to these lurkers, and the stalkers are trying to do their best to get into the main, but the Hydras, of course, out DPS them. And these lurkers are still up and standing. No other way. GG gets cold. And RagnaroK 3-0 lead. Is this going to be a clean sweep, Black One?
So far, I think it will be, unless Patience starts playing the transition into the late game differently, because the disruptors and the stalkers are just so supply heavy that transitioning into bigger amounts of carriers, like he tried once again, is just going to be near to impossible.
Yeah. RagnaroK has been able to delay the transition every single game to a point in which, as you were saying, was basically impossible for Patience to get enough in time. And yeah, just being able to blindside his opponent so many times, being able to not lose too much in his bases, not too much economy loss, not too many queens, while still getting maybe not really super efficient trades with the lurkers. He can replace his army so much more quickly than his opponent.
You got him.
Okay, we're going on Everdream, and while we wait for the lobby to be set up once more, I want you guys to click on the link below the stream to get on a Match Arena page for this event, Alpha Pro Series number 203. It's gonna be a Match Arena code as well here in this little space underneath. And if you go there and paste that code into the contribute of the Match Arena, you're gonna be adding up 50 cents for free into the prize pool. And make sure to do that, guys. That is money that goes straight up into the pockets of our players. You can do it for free, and if you want to do a little bit more, you can also buy the replay pack for the event and some other merchandising, and all of that money is gonna be going into the prize pool. So make sure to donate if you want to, or even just use the code. It's totally free and it really takes little time to do so.
It does indeed. So let's introduce the players who all this money is going to benefit. Spawning in the bottom left, he is the Blue Protoss player representing Team LP. Give it up for Patience. Is this a normal scout? I'm just asking.
I don't know. Spawning in the opposite corner though, it's the red ZvP player leading the series 3-0, looking strong and ready to get the clean sweep. It's Alpha X's very own RagnaroK.
What is this probe doing?
Nothing.
Oh,
Oh,
there's a forge!
whoa. That is Spartan's kind of rush as well as a gateway. Oh, you nasty man.
Do you think RagnaroK is kind of expecting something, because there has been no probe scout yet? And usually you always probe scout. Oh my god, he did not see. Okay, now he saw probe move across the map.
Yeah, but it's way too late. Like having the overload over here and not in the natural means that this kind of rush is not gonna be spotted. Yeah, okay, this is as close as you can get to GG, because right now it's gonna be very hard for Patience, for RagnaroK to get back into this game. This cannon over here is just there to kill the archery. Patience doesn't want to commit any more resources than he needs. Once this archery is down, he's just gonna go back home. He will not care, and RagnaroK, of course, is gonna be dropping down another. And that's already a very heavy loss in resources. Lost also a lot of time that will not be back. His queens, his production, his economy is gonna be struggling for all the first few minutes of the game. He needs to do something aggressive. He needs to pump out larva as fast as possible, because Patience is just macroing it out.
Reminds me of the good old times when Protoss would just go Forge expand and then and then force the Zerg to respond to any kind of pylon.
Yeah.
And if you didn't respond, well, you'd get cannon rushed.
Those were the days, right?
The good old days.
Kinda.
Okay, so what do we have? We have 350 minerals on the other side of the map for Patience, and we have 350 minerals lost for RagnaroK with that hatchery and the drone, right?
Yeah. Shield battery? Gateway?
What?
All
How
right.
hard are you going to commit to this, Patience?
Isn't this a little bit too much?
Well, he has a robo coming, so maybe he'll just chrono boost out a warp prism or something. Like, I'm honestly, I'm just not sure what to think of this.
I mean, This gateway is gonna go up, like, there's not gonna be a huge deal, but once Ravagers are out, and trust me, Ravagers are out, this commitment over here is gonna be all for nothing. Like, Patience really needs to hit super quick for this for this shield battery and gateway to be worth the trouble. And RagnaroK is getting his economy up, he's getting his first few units out as well. His scouting is clean. Patience doesn't have a third. Imagine Patience just macroing it up right now. Wouldn't that have been better?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I guess, like, it depends on the reaction of the Zerg player. If your opponent decides to just go for Roach Warren immediately and try to bust you open with a counter attack, you die if you're not too careful. But what is the plan right now for Patience? Is he just going to put on the pressure and hope that there's nothing coming his way, or
he's just gonna lose the pylon? That's what is gonna happen right now. Okay, the shake completes over here, of course. With these Ravagers being out, there's not much to be done. Zerglings are out to deal with the Stalkers. And you can see the supply, like, more army and more workers. And he's a Zerg. Yeah, and now look at the Ravagers go. They can just...
Oh my god! You have to use your bias though.
Yeah, and there's only one pylon. What are you doing, RagnaroK? Stop! Oh, so many Zerglings lost for nothing. Okay, finally this cannon is gonna go down. But that wasn't efficient at all.
He lost not only one Ravager, but a bunch of Zerglings.
And he also lost the Queen to the Stalkers that were right now attacking his fur base. Of course, right now this War Prism is not gonna get much more. And RagnaroK has an army that can just move through the map. But three mortals.
Maybe not.
3 mortals?
How
many sentries? Oh, it's just 2 sentries, so.
Okay,
yeah.
with just 2 sentries? But there's a Warp Prism on the feed. You can never underestimate a Protoss with a Warp Prism.
Yeah, but then again, once it's just the Warp Prism juggling Immortals, you can just send the Zerglings through the map and end the game. Like, exactly like RagnaroK is doing right now.
Once again, we have the Zerg player go for a counter attack, but this time around he's turning around.
Yeah, I mean, he has way more than enough to deal with his army. Once the Zerglings start to commit, the force fields are not there in time. Ravagers are still in range to get with everything. Yeah, and this is just gonna be a GG. The army of Patience is not really doing much. Of course, the Ravagers need to back off. The Zerglings cannot kill everything, but Immortals, look at their health. Yellow, one is green.
Zerglings have been trading really bad against those Zealots.
That is true. That is very true. But right now, RagnaroK is making way more units than Patience can make. And every single trade, even slightly unfavorable, is gonna be good. Losing Queens is not a good trade, though. That is not a good trade. The army of RagnaroK is very badly placed. Like, this game is slipping off a little bit too much. Finally, those Ravagers are getting some good damage on top of the key units, but these Immortals are right now once more in very good health.
Ravagers, oh my god, he's coming from the flank.
Oh, and three Ravagers are more than enough to deal with the Warp Prism. Vials go down. One of the Immortals has died as well. And this will be a perfect time for all the Zerglings he lost to get a counter attack. Here comes a recall, and Ravager Vials will whiff. In the end, Patience cannot do much. GG gets gold, and it is match point for RagnaroK.
What a play though to send 3 Ravagers and the Roach.
Yeah, that was a good play, true.
Oh my god.
But I cannot stop thinking about what Patience could have done and what he actually did. Like, this wasn't a clean game from Patience. This wasn't a clean game at all. He had a good idea. He had a good execution of his starting plan, and then he just fell apart on way too many bad decisions.
Like, the thing with Patience is his play is never super clean, right?
True.
But what he excels in is just out mind gaming his opponent. I believe that if we should ever see Patience in a round of 8 of the GSL, he's just going to make his opponent suffer on every map, because you cannot possibly predict what he's going to do. We have seen him go
Especially
for
on bigger
disrupt.
maps.
Yeah, like we've seen him go for a disruptor drop. We've seen him go for Gateway Forge. We've seen him go for a
Stargate
Glaive
opener.
Adapt build. We've seen him go for a Stargate build. It's just everything.
It's not been working that great so far, but Patience is really one of those players who can really unmind you, as you were saying. And well, talking about him, let's introduce this guy, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Submarine. He's a blue Protoss player playing for Team LP. He needs to win 5 in a row. A titanic task against such a good player it is. Patience.
And spawning in the bottom right, he's the red Zerg player representing Alpha X. He's currently up for, oh, this is match ball. Give it up for RagnaroK. Like, yeah, going back to what we said in the beginning, we did predict RagnaroK to win. But
True.
did you expect it to be this
Absolutely not.
one-sided?
Like, I would have never expected any of those two players going to a 4-0 advantage. But you know what? This is very deserved. RagnaroK has been showing up today as the better player.
Yeah.
No real doubt that he's playing better than his opponent. He still needs to be a little bit more clean on his victories. At times, like, it looks like he delays the point in which he can win by a little bit too much. That's mostly a feeling though. Like, don't you feel like every single one of these games RagnaroK could have won it a little bit before than he did?
Yeah, like, especially the Golden Wall match.
Yeah.
His all-in not working out at the beginning with the Roach Ravager set him behind quite a bit, but then there was that point where Stats was on like 10 Stalkers and a bunch of Zealots, and RagnaroK was just sitting at home being scared of what if there are disruptors. So a little bit more knowledge in the latest, like knowledge as in vision of what your opponent is doing in the later stages of the game would be quite helpful for RagnaroK.
Yeah, that is definitely true.
Okay, Zerglings get in once again, get a nice
yeah.
scout out.
Patience not really getting too much scouting information before this adept. Right now he's finally getting something. Shading the main to check for a lair, shading the natural to check the drone count. Everything pretty standard. Finally, the scouting Zerglings are gonna be cleared, but not before they scouted absolutely everything going up. It's gonna be
Everything you say.
Alright, never mind.
Okay, but explain to me why you don't build one of the gateways you build in the main to just wall off your natural. Ah, because you use the last gateway you add to wall off the natural. Silly me.
I don't know, like, this is even off time. Like, if I saw this, I would have thought, this gateway here in the wall off is way too late. So...
Especially if you see the 2 gateways in the main, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're going for an all-in like this, I feel like maybe you want to deny any sort of scout.
You know what? RagnaroK completely agrees with you and is placing spine crawlers everywhere. He definitely expects something. And that something is an immortal and slow zealot push, it looks like. 18 Zerglings are coming, 2 roaches as well. RagnaroK spots the War Prism and the zealots coming. Right now, Queens are getting into position. Queens are going to be so important right now to deal with this. The Zerglings are getting on top of the zealots. This War Prism is way too far. The Immortal gets saved, but goodbye, zealots. Juggling the Immortal back. The War Prism survives. Not with a lot of health. More zealots are gonna be warped in. No charge, no Twilight Council. This is completely all in from Patience, by the way. And this is already looking rough. RagnaroK has a lot of units out. These Queens are trying to get on top of the War Prism. The War Prism is under attack right now. One of the Queens gets very close. The War Prism is in the red health. He needs to leave these Immortals behind. And one of the Queens actually falls for this. War Prism falls behind. You get more zealots. Help with the juggle. But roaches are getting way too many kills right now. These spine crows are also gonna help. And Patience is not breaking through.
Once again, this does not feel super well executed.
Yeah, not even well designed if you ask me. Right now, RagnaroK, perfect defense, of course. These War Prism are still very wounded, but the army of RagnaroK is just not following. Roaches destroy those zealots, and right now getting on top of the Immortals as well. Queens getting on top of the War Prism. War Prism goes down. GG gets gold, and it's gonna be a clean sweep by RagnaroK. 5-0 victory for the Zerg player, and a very, very well-deserved one.
Okay, so I think we should add this because like earlier there was some talk between the players that Patience has been moving to another place. He has been busy with the GSL, and since he dropped out, probably a little unmotivated, demotivated to continue his practice. So we are probably not seeing A game Patience right now. Probably not even B, but C game Patience. And for all the Patience fans out there, I still think there has been some potential in his play. If on Eternal Empire the Ling run-bys would not have killed the Cybernetics core or gone into main and natural, that could have helped a lot. And like just mistakes like not warping in a zealot in time or having the wall of complete is something that will cost you a game, and it's also something where you might just not be fast enough in the moment or on that day. If he says he just got up 1.5 hours ago, would have pretty much been the answer for why he didn't quite perform as well. On the other hand, RagnaroK did really well.
Yeah,
like
that was a sick performance by RagnaroK.
His multitasking was just perfect. His scouting was impressive as well. Like getting into the main base on submarine and knowing what was coming and immediately dropping those spine crawlers. The spine crawlers really saved him.
Yeah, true.
Like they added so much damage against the zealots and also tanked so much damage. Both of them were like quarter of their HP left.
Yeah.
So
they were at least in the orange health. Yes.
Yeah, like great plays by RagnaroK.
Game sense has been absolutely insane from RagnaroK. That's probably one of his best characteristic, but we have to say also that like I think about game one mostly. Game one on Eisenchrome was perfect execution of a game plan from RagnaroK. His army was doing exactly what he wanted it to do. He was losing few trades and he was getting a lot of value out of the Vipers. I think he lost just one Viper throughout the whole series. There were 2 games in which he made Vipers and he only lost 1. That's already a big feat against Planestalkers. And just his army control, his high APM, his multitask, his scouting, his game sense, everything was top notch. And we were just unlucky enough to not have the best possible patience with us today. And I'm very sure that with a little bit of time, we will see this player perform to his best again, and we're gonna probably see a way closer series than it was today.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is all for today's stream, guys. Hope you enjoyed this series as much as we did. Once more, make sure to get into that link, the RagnaroK code that is underneath the stream, and you can paste the coupon code into the page and contribute for 50 cents for free, adding them to the prize pool. Or you can also get a little bit underneath as well to check for the replay pack. That's gonna be $5. Am I right? $5?
$3.
$3 to buy the replay pack for this series that is gonna go into the pockets of the players. Make sure to use the code. And for now, it has been all. Any last words, Black One?
Thank you for watching. 오늘도 신청해 주셔서 감사합니다. 여러분 예쁜 일요일 저녁을 보내면 좋겠습니다. For all of you out there who don't speak Korean as well, have a beautiful day, evening, and we'll see you around next time.
And I'd have said it better myself. Well, I'm Agantistas. My co-caster was Black One. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for being with us.